Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Living with Anitude New Year's Day special of You Are Never Alone. I have the beautiful and wonderful Kelly Bryant here, and I have my fave, Michael Paterano, as usual, as he's doing his 12 Days of Christmas special, You Are Never Alone. But we're changing it up today. I'm wearing my party earrings. It's New Year's Day. We're turning things around, and we're going to talk about positivity and light and how to bring that into your 2021. Now, we all know that 2020 sucked on a lot of levels. And in some ways, we've talked about how there have been miracles in 2020. So there have been many good things that have happened as well. And it depends on how you frame things. Uh-oh, where's Mike going? Never mind.
I'm going inside.
Okay.
It's quieter.
So I think it's important for us to sort of have a little bit of a spin on this and talk a little bit about how we can bring some positivity and light into 2021, not just talk about sort of the downers of 2020. Let's get into how we're going to bring, now granted, it doesn't switch in a day, right? It doesn't just switch over and it's 2021, so everything's great. We know that. But hi Yanis, how are you? He always jumps on. He's such a good supporter. But I think that it's important to sort of look at how you're going to frame things going into the year, if that makes sense. And Kelly, with your beautiful hair, talk to me about how you're going to look at 2021 and sort of dive into it. Hi, Rob. How are you?
How am I going to look at 2021 and dive in?
How are you going to frame this so that we can bring light to it?
I think it's important. Yeah, I think it's important that you mentioned it. This is not like an overnight, just 2020, 2021. While we celebrate the, day, it's a mindset shift. And for me, it's really been happening over the last few months, just letting go of the negativity and choosing to focus on those positive things every day. So yes, for a lot of people, 2020 was a challenge and caused a lot of struggle, but kind of making that decision that I'm not going to struggle today and I'm going to find the positive things in today and in every day.
Hi, Jonathan.
Happy New Year's.
No, Happy New Year's. I completely, hi, Robert. Nice to see you. Happy New Year. I completely agree with you on that as far as making that choice. I think it's so important. And people might be stuck and saying, well, it's easy for you to choose. You have it, but none of us has it easy right now. There's a lot of stuff going on in all of our lives. We all have our shit. And I think it's really, really super important to make that choice and how you frame things, right? How you look at them. Things can be the end of the world, or, you can kind of be grateful and get grateful and figure out what it is you have to have gratitude toward.
Right.
Can anybody hear me or no?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, okay.
When we raise our vibration, we switch.
We have a little freezage going on. Cal?
She's there somewhere. She's somewhere in the middle. She's in the middle of nowhere, Texas.
We're all in our party gear today, which I think is very exciting. So if anyone wants to know, since many of us didn't get to go to a party or anything last night, I decided today was kind of a dress up day because it's friggin' New Year's Day. And why shouldn't we dress up? Because we can, right? So I wore my party earrings. And I didn't do my hair quite as well as Kelly because Kelly's hair is amazing, but
thank you.
I feel like I have
this was the last minute. I got the memo last that we.
You know why? Because today, as I was getting dressed, I decided I'm like, this has got to be a party.
Yeah. So this is what
so
happens.
You got the memo right when I did.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. So this was my hair's in a bun. I'm wearing split pants. Maybe I should put some makeup on. So this is what happens. You get formal hair.
I love it. It's gorgeous. Snazzy, Jonathan said.
Nice word.
Appreciate that. Hi, Erin. How are you? Thank you for popping on. So, Michael, talk to me about how you are going into this year and You're going to frame things in a way that's going to lead to positivity and light, so that we're not just focusing on the negative here.
My answer is going to be different than every other human being's. It is
Okay.
the exact same as yesterday. It's just the next day. And I'm just
So what
taking
does that look like for you, is my point?
I mean, I'm just putting my best foot forward. I'm moving forward. I'm evolving. I'm continuing my transformation. I'm raising my vibration daily. I'm continuing my routines. I'm continuing my practice. I'm continuing just keep being real and keep being honest and being my truest self every single day, true on every level. And it's for me, the end of a year means nothing. It's just another day, like my post said yesterday. To me, that doesn't change anything. Nothing. There is no magic button. There is no magic switch that's just going to flip it. It's got to be your mindset. And if you don't change your mindset, then nothing else matters.
So talk to me a little bit. Hi, Bill. Talk to me a little bit about how you change your mindset.
You find somebody who sees something in you that you can't see in yourself, and they start showing you ways to look at yourself differently. At least that's what happened for me. So it's about the work, right? It's about taking the steps to really dig deep, figuring out who you are, what you do, how you align, and just doing the daily practice, whether it's meditation, praying, exercising, writing, gratitudes, reading every morning. That's what I do, right? Like it's everybody has their own individual journey, and I meditate many times a day, because this world isn't perfect and our worlds are circumstantial and chaotic. I just need to stay as centered and grounded and focused as possible. So with everything going on around me, I just block out time throughout the day to make sure I'm centered. I make sure that I'm just staying in my best self, and it helps me to. It's less positivity and just more allowance. It's I just good or bad, I'm allowing it either way. Yeah, I mean, having the right people around you does help, but it all starts inside. If you're not doing it for yourself, you could have the most positive people on the planet around you, right? Like, it just doesn't matter. If you're not doing the work and you're not creating it and becoming self-inspired, self-motivated, there's a key word there, right? It's self. Like,
Right.
you need to do that. Yeah, you
It's your
need
choice.
to.
Still, it's your choice. I mean, so
Yeah.
Giannis brings up a great point. Shall we send a memo at some point to bring our people together for a gratitude party? So that's what I should have called this. I think that's such an amazing point. Like, that's really what this is. It's the first of the year, and it's a great time to stop and get grateful, for what we have. I mean, there's a lot of focus on what we don't have. There's a lot of focus on what's wrong. There's a lot of focus on I'm alone. I mean, I'm guilty of this, this is going on, that's going on. And you can have that negativity, or you can get really grateful. And that, for me, looks like writing and centering and meditation, like you said, Michael. I don't know what that looks like for you, Kelly, getting grateful.
No, same thing. And for me, it absolutely is meditation. That's something that is a practice I have over the last 3 months just started, and it has completely changed my perspective. But I think the key here is it's a practice, and that we can. It's easy for us to say, because we're doing the work and this is something that is normal for us, that it's a choice. It's easy for us to say, keep doing the work, make sure you have a practice. But the key is that it's a practice, and day one isn't going to be easy. And just like when you first start to meditate, you have to train yourself how to think differently. That when the negative thoughts come up, first of all, we have grace for ourselves and recognize that this is going to happen. You're going to have struggles, and to train ourselves to start thinking differently about them, and to transmute those thoughts into gratitude or finding something positive in the day. It's really easy for us to say, oh, you just make the choice, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what we've trained ourselves at this point, or are in the process of training ourselves to do that. But for people who that isn't a normal practice, I think it's important to recognize that it's not easy. And sometimes we have to remind ourselves, hey, I'm in a funk today. What do I need to do to fix this and to rewrite this. You know, it's not, it is as simple as making a choice, but it's a constant practice. It's something that we have
And what I
to.
to your point, what I find, at least for me, and I think a lot of people that I've talked to, like people say, I can't meditate. I just can't. My mind doesn't work like that, you know? And it's like, people are a little bit like they're confused about what meditation really means. And they think you have to be in this yogi type state or this monk-like state when you're meditating. And it's really not the truth. It's really not the truth. And like, as long as you're just with yourself and you can pull yourself back when your monkey mind runs away, like mine does, then you're meditating and you're doing okay. It's not about judging yourself, right? It's like, there's ways to just be and learn how to just be and keep it positive. You know, this isn't to set yourself up for failure. This isn't to beat yourself up.
Yeah. Well, and Mike said something earlier, kind of the key there is just to allow, right? If we just change into the mode of allowing and receiving instead of constantly trying to control and control and then beat ourselves up. Oh my gosh, I can't meditate because all these thoughts just keep running through my head and whatever. If we just sit back and allow and recognize that thoughts are going to come in our head and we're just going to let them come and go and focus on what we focus on, that's meditating. That's what it is. You don't have to, like you said, be in this yogi state of Zen to meditate. We recognize that. Allow. Keyword allow.
So that was my word for 2020.
Really?
I chose that December 31st of 2019. I chose allow as my word. And it is not easy. It is not easy to allow. It is not easy to relinquish control. Hi, Rebecca. Hi, Rhonda. How are you? Happy New Year.
Rhonda.
Happy New Year, Rhonda.
Hey, Rebecca.
Happy You're here also. Thank you for jumping in. Yes, Jonathan, it certainly does.
Rebecca's on Sunday with me.
Hi, Ted. How are you? So we were just talking about, for people that just jumped on, we're talking about allowing and how that was my word for the whole year, and it didn't really get any easier as the year went on.
So, Annie, I was going to ask, is that kind of like when you ask for patience? What happens when you ask for patience? For you, with saying allow your word, was that it painted
It's
your
really
year?
funny that you ask that, because that's why I changed from making New Year's resolutions, because for like 10 years in a row, my New Year's resolution was to have patience, and that stopped fucking working. So I was like, I might as well just pick something else. So I decided to pick a word. Hi, Melody. Nice to see you. I decided to pick a word, and this is like a little bit before, a couple years ago I started this, and it was a little bit before picking a word became trendy, or maybe I heard it or saw it somewhere and decided to do that. But allow is, and little did I know, I've said this a million times, but little did I know how much I was going to have to allow in 2020, how much we were all going to have to allow.
Yeah.
So it's all Annie's fault.
It is. I picked that word. And what happened?
So just to take a step back, right? Like when we talk about meditating, for me, it's just about getting that space for that moment just to center myself again. I mean, I've been known to do this while driving sometimes, right? Like instead of me throwing a shoe at the windshield, like, I just take a deep breath and I slow myself down and I just get back to that centered, grounded place. And I can do it anywhere, anytime, with my eyes open. Yes. I'm on live, Thomas, remember?
I think Giannis asked a good question. Many wonder how long one should meditate to see results. What do you guys think about that question?
I don't think anybody can answer that for anybody else, right? Like,
different for everyone.
It's different for everyone. Like, I mean, I wake up early on purpose so that I can meditate for extended periods of time in the morning, right? And my meditation is different than most people's meditation. I listen to meditation music. I don't do guided. I don't do any of that stuff because that just makes my mind just run in a million different directions. So like
what works for you.
I find the frequencies, and really based on my mood that morning, I listen to different frequencies. I pay very close attention to what frequency I'm listening to, because different frequencies trigger different things in your body to react in different ways. So depending on where my mental state is when I get up is what the frequency that I listen to. And it could be anywhere from 432, which is supposedly the most resounding sounds that you'll hear, which is why Bach and Beethoven used that in their music, all the way up to 999, even up into gigahertz. So it all just depends, like 10.25 gigahertz. And like, I'm all over the spectrum depending on my day. But
Is
what was I
there a
gonna say? There was
method behind that, Mike? Like when you
no
say, I mean,
madness.
there's
No
different.
madness. It's pure madness.
Yeah, so
Um,
you're just going with
Maybe
what
you should have my shirt
intuitively
on,
you.
Michael.
There
yeah,
you
there you
go.
go. I should, but I don't think it would look the same on me. No,
So
I
yeah,
go
are you
based.
just intuitively
It's all
choosing, or
It's all
okay,
intuitively. Yeah, I mean, I have a list of 30 or 40 of them that I just randomly choose from for that day, and they range from anywhere from 58 minutes to 6 hours. Not that I sit there and listen to 6 hours with 3 kids, but there's been days that I've been known to go back and listen to it for another hour during the middle of the day. Just put on the headphones and just listen. It depends on what my day is, right? Like, I mean, we live in the real world. I might look like Buddha, but I'm not Buddha, right? Like
you don't look
you
like
know,
Buddha.
I carry, I'm not, I live in today's planet. Like, this is a chaotic world that we live in. Circumstances crush us at times. And we've got to have enough self-compassion to understand that we're going to make mistakes daily, hourly, minutely. Like, we make bad choices. We're allowed, right? It's okay. The trick is not to get caught up into it and just move forward with those choices and figure out how to make.
I
Yes.
totally agree with that. I
Yes.
oftentimes find myself driving. Well, not really recently, because I basically drive.
Where do we drive? Yeah.
Where am I going? I mean, let's be real. Like, I drive to my ex's house to drop off my kids,
Yep.
But I do find that when I'm in my most calm space, and I can get really centered when I am driving and I don't have any music on, which I never really used to be able to do.
There's another thing that I transferred to these last few weeks that have changed a big perspective for me also. And I still do my daily gratitudes, but I've changed how I do them now. What I look for first thing in the morning before I do my gratitudes is, what are pain points? What is things that are bothering me? What are things that are annoying me and triggering me in different ways? And then I flip perspective, and I am grateful for those experiences. So if something is painful and something is really hurting me on an emotional level, I thank myself for that pain, because there's a lesson involved that I'm learning.
That is super evolved, Mike. Like,
well,
super charge evolved right there.
Look, okay. I have a very circular shape, and circles are perfect. So, maybe I'm getting there, right? No,
So
at the end of the day,
I don't think you can say that anymore, honestly.
No, I don't think I can. I don't think
you.
it fits anymore.
I
It
don't
doesn't.
think
I think being on with us is not helping him today.
No, it's not.
Rhonda listens to 432 and above. It's very helpful. Rob just asked, what is 432 hertz or whatever?
It's a frequency level that the human body reacts to in an emotional way. When you
that
go,
one's what, the DNA healing one or something?
Yeah, that's the
Ashley.
DNA healing. Hey, Ashley, DNA healing is 555. And then there's 632, 642. There's 852.
Wait, slow down and tell people what to look for, and they can pick out of the menu.
I mean, I can just share my playlist if people want. I mean, I just randomly choose it intuitively.
That on YouTube. Yeah.
Search like
432 hertz music on YouTube, and that will come up, and then I will also make all sorts of suggestions based off of
It'll make tons.
Frequencies. Yeah.
That's what people do. And you just listen to it, and you meditate, and you like breathe with it.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just doing daily chores, laundry, washing dishes in the bathtub, which is something new that I've got to do. I'm just gonna put my head.
Washing dishes in the bathtub. I sleep to it. I sleep.
The dishwasher is not working because the water is not working in the sink, and so on.
I commute an hour to work. I use that time to plan my day and my interactions. And on my way home, I evaluate the choices I made that day. LinkedIn user, I wish I knew who you were. That's a very good point.
That's a very good point.
I can't stand when it doesn't tell me who it is. It makes me crazy. I apologize.
It's their privacy settings.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I mean, that's part of it too, right? But like, me listening to the music isn't always about meditation. It's just about putting my mind at ease. Because what I realized is this mind puts me in that mindset. This music helps me put my mindset at ease. It slows my mind down because I've trained it to meditate during those times. So even if I'm thinking or working or doing anything, if I have that playing playing in the background, it really just puts me in that state again.
So Rhonda explains it pretty well too. These frequencies help you in different manners. For example, they raise your vibration.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hi, Shawn Rivers. Nice to see you. Sorry that I didn't know it was you. So yeah, and how long, Mike, did that take you? Like when you first started listening to those, how long did it take you to sort of start working? Did you feel? So in case people try it and they're like, "What's this?"
I would say a few weeks. I mean, there's certain ones that I literally got physically ill from listening to because the frequencies would just trigger different things.
So they were not the right frequencies for you.
Not for me at that moment. I can go back and listen to them now and it's different, right? So like as our body evolves, as our frequencies change, our vibrations change, what we can handle and how we handle them changes also. And I'm not one of those people, I don't like rigid, stuck in type situations. So I need that options, and I need to look at different opportunities and different things to be able to select from. For me, that gives me some type of personal freedom to figure out where I am for that day. So, I mean, like I have a very eclectic list, and then I've also mixed in shaman drum beats as well, which also opens up a different side of it also. Like the drum beats seem to give me a little bit more creativity, a little bit more lightness around about me. But it's after I meditate, because I meditate first and then can transition into that. Because if I start the day with that,
some vibrations affect her negatively too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ashley says some put her to sleep. So that's an interesting thing for
to them for anxiety. Too, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you?
Mm-hmm. It's definitely changed the way I sleep.
I think that you've got to just keep trying until you find what works for you, right? Like, I mean, we're all individuals and we're all unique, and it's brilliant how unique we are, and we need to cherish these unique gifts that we have and our differences, and we need to look at different things to see what works for us at what moment, right? Like, I mean, some days just suck. Some days we are living minute by minute because they just suck, right? Like, and it's just how it is.
But some days don't. And it's those days, I feel like, that when I hone in on those days and those times that really don't, I can use that power for the times that do suck. Not to say I always can, but
I think that works. And but you need to get to a point where you're self-aware enough also, right? And that again goes back to doing the work, because if you're not self-aware enough, then none of these things are going to help you. They're just not. You've got to do that work. You've got to be willing to put the time in and get rid of your shadows, get rid of the darkness, get rid of the skeletons, get rid of anything that holds you back in any way. Because if you're not really free to be yourself 24/7, then you're missing out on the best parts of yourself, right? Your flaws.
Writing does what you're saying for me. I don't know how everybody else feels, but like, you always tell me, Mike, when I'm like a mess, you're like, write it out. And for me, like, writing is so cathartic that it's so freeing to me when I just even if it's like, I already know it, what do I need to write it out for? Like, if it's stuck in my head and I get it out on paper, I feel so much better. Like, I'm like a new person after I write, and I will just write like pages. And I want people to like not judge themselves for this kind of stuff too. Like, no one's going to read it. It's not about editing and making your writing neat. Although I do like to write when my writing is like extra neat with a certain pen, but that's just because I'm like, funny like that. But like, it can be very cathartic, and it's not to be judged. It's just to get your thoughts on paper. It's so freeing.
See, but here's the thing. We're all different also, right? Because what I've realized, like you, I know your patterns, right? Because we're close and we talk all the time and we're involved in each other's lives quite a bit. And I know your patterns, so I also know how to help you with them, right? Me, I'm learning my patterns finally, and you pay attention to my patterns also. For me, sometimes I need to talk it out first, and then I can go write it out, right? Because I know I'm audiological, so for me, the clearing of my mind is talking it out, and then I can go write. Right? Like, then I can write it out because if I start writing when my mind isn't focused, the writing just doesn't even make sense anymore. Like, it doesn't help me. It creates more confusion. So I need to be able to align the writing at first and then be able to write it out. But
hi, Laura. I'm with you, Mike. I'm with you. I mean, some people are more like that. I wanted to see if you guys ever experienced a gong session.
Yes.
A bong session? Lots of them.
No, we know you experienced those, Michael.
Gong.
A
Yes.
gong?
It's super healing. Yeah.
Not in this life, no.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, Kelly's tried those things because she went on that retreat and came back a whole different human being.
What was that like,
Well,
Kel?
it's careful saying that because I was a different person going to the retreat, which is why I went to the retreat in the first place, right? But yeah, the retreat was great. I had this kind of experience where all of a sudden everything was different, and I wanted to seek out all of these new practices and information, talking about being in an allow and receive stage. It was like I woke up one day and was, give me all the information. I want to learn all about this. I want to jump right in. And so the retreat for me, we had a gong session the very first night. They called it a gong bath. And that was a great way to start the retreat. And then just all sorts of things like Kundalini yoga, breathwork classes. There was like a dance session. There were lots of sound baths, sound healing things, Reiki massage. I mean, basically, it was a little taste of kind of everything in this world. So it was a really good experience. Lots of journaling, lots of meditation, lots of self-work.
Was it like a silent retreat? Were you silent during it?
No, but it was only women, which was a really good experience. No, it was not silent at all. There was a lot of introspective work and a lot of time where, you just kind of went off on your own and did your own thing. But no, I think it was really important that it wasn't silent because we shared so much and, met like-minded sister, like soul sisters that will be a part of my life for the rest of my life, because of
That's amazing.
Shared experiences. So, yeah.
And how long were you there?
A week, 7 days in Tulum. Yeah, it was in the middle of November. So we, there was all this. We had to get COVID tested before and 3 days before, and they were very strict about all that. But then it was great because we were kind of secluded in this one area in Tulum, and we felt safe, and we were able to not wear our masks and be around people, and it felt normal, and it was a really good experience.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I wanted to go back to someone asked, this whole conversation started by somebody asking how long we should meditate. And I recently heard something that said you should meditate for 20 minutes a day unless you don't have time, and then you should meditate for 40 minutes a day. And I thought that was so perfect, in that that was me. I was that person. I don't have time. I don't have time to do that, whatever. And if you don't have time, then you're the one who needs it the most.
I mean, but like anything else, it's got to be made a priority in your life because you're prioritizing yourself, right? And you need to find a way to create time for yourself. Mm-hmm. I don't care what your situation is. If you're a single parent in the middle of nowhere with 3 children that sleep crazy hours, then you need to find time for yourself. You create it if it means that much to you. If you want to change, then you have to change everything. You just need to do something different.
My line.
Your line.
That was, Kelly, that's my, when I was in my depths of despair and the depression, that got me out of it. Finally, when I turned the corner, I said,
different.
do something different. What I'm doing right now is not working.
Yeah.
I need to do something different. And it stuck with me. Sounds so simple, but.
Well, sometimes that's what clicks, right? Sometimes it's the most simple solution that works. I wouldn't even say sometimes. I would say often, probably usually.
And I go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, it just for whatever reason that day, it just pushed me to start to do just what I'm doing isn't working, and so it made me do something that eventually started to work. It was like, obviously I'm not okay where I am. So if I just do something different, it's probably going to move the needle.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I think another part of this is, right, like it's easy to get caught up in life and lose routine, right? And I've talked about this and we've talked about this many times. When you get out of your routine, you just don't feel right. So, like, I'm very focused on keeping my routine intact and making sure that if I go to bed at 2, I still get up at 4. If I go to bed at 8, I still get up at 4. My body gets the rest that it needs because it tells me it needs it. Kids. So it's, it's one of those things that, when I lose my routine, everything falls off the rails.
It all starts to crumble. Yeah.
And it does really quickly. And
it's so easy to lose it too.
Yes.
Easy to fall off the track.
Yeah. And it's like when you're rigid, when you're stuck in it, it seems so routine and it seems so boring at times. And then you feel better and you're like, oh, okay, I can miss this. I can slack on this for a day. And I got to tell you, like, going back sometimes is even harder than starting in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Because then it's almost like you're blaming yourself and you have self-blame and like there's so many pieces to this puzzle. And the trick is you just got to, I think maybe it was an AA. It's called KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Like, you just keep it simple. Like, everything seems overwhelming when you allow it to. But if you create simplicity around it and you find simple ways to train your mind to look at things, then you're going to be able to stay focused on just keeping it simple for yourself. Because as crazy as the world is, we don't need more complexity. We just don't.
And we were talking earlier too about doing too much too fast too, like making those huge changes all together. Like, try not to. That's what people do, I think, wrong. January 1st, they do like a life revamp. And you're setting yourself up for failure when you do that a lot of times, because to revamp your exercise routine, your nutrition routine, your meditation routine, your, meal prep, or your reading or your self-care, whatever it is that you're revamping, like, it's just overwhelming and it sets you up for failure, in my opinion.
Yep. So one of the things that a teacher encouraged me to do before the new year was to write out my expectations of myself on one side.
I remember you saying that. I heard you say this the other day.
And then the other side, your disappointments. So write out your expectations of yourself on one piece of paper and your disappointments on the other. And the reason you mentioned, like, New Year's, we write down all these expectations, all these, resolutions of what we're supposed to do, and to just let go of that, to just as a process, set the intention on New Year's to let go of those expectations. And obviously we have goals and we set intentions and we manifest things, but rather than having it be an expectation, have it be a goal, have it be this is my and goal isn't even the right word, but set an intention rather than having an expectation of yourself, and letting go of those things that you have to accomplish, letting go of the outcome of those things. So it was almost like a reverse resolution.
How do you navigate between what you just said,
yes,
and letting yourself off the hook versus pushing yourself to the next level?
Yeah. I think it's the balance of, like, the practice. What are you doing? What I hold myself accountable for is the self-care and the doing the work, right? So if I'm making sure that I'm meditating, if I'm making sure that I'm eating the way my body is telling me to eat, and not practicing those habits that I know are unhealthy for me, right? Obviously I have things that I want to accomplish in the year, and I have goals and whatever, but for me, there's a balance of holding yourself accountable, which I think is what you're saying. Like, how do you not just turn into a vegetable and sit on the couch every day because, well, I'm not going to have expectations.
Right.
But I think it's just letting go of, because I think it seems like you and I are pretty similar in that we're doers and we like to control, right? that creates so much pressure for ourselves, and we give it's like so much of a hard, like you just give yourself such a hard time if you didn't accomplish something in the way that you thought you were going to accomplish and whatever, and recognizing that we really do have control. And when we force it, when we force things, and when we live in that negative vibration of I have to do this now and I have to do it in this way and this is the outcome it has to be, we make ourselves miserable. Versus if we set an intention, say this is what I'm going to do, and then sit back and kind of allow, the things that we hold ourselves accountable for are those daily practices, right? We hold ourselves accountable to taking care of ourselves, meditating, doing the work, and the rest of it, separate yourself from the outcome. It will happen. Trust in, this is going to sound woo-woo, but like trust in the universe and trust yourself. It's going to happen. Give yourself, live in that higher vibration of allowing and receiving instead of tightly holding on to the outcome of something and those expectations.
It's such a good lesson, Kelly. It's very wise.
I feel like that didn't make any sense at all, but
it made total sense to me. It made total sense to me.
Good. Okay, good.
But it's like you were speaking directly to me. Like that's what one of my biggest issues is, just that I'm really, really ambitious.
Yes.
And I'm truly a perfectionist when it comes to myself.
Yep.
And I push myself really, really hard, and I don't give myself any credit. I don't even like compliments. Like it's uncomfortable for me.
Yep.
And I know I need to get better at that. I'm just, so listening to you is helping me to understand.
Telling us that we need to talk forever. This is
I know. It's true. No, you're very helpful. It's just, it's getting there. It's getting there because I can preach it and I can help anyone in the universe. It's part of what I do and part of who I am. But and I give everyone credit. I mean, for the littlest things, and I show care and concern and love, but my self-care and concern and empathy and compassion is a little lacking.
Yeah.
But I think we all have, but I think that's normal, right? That's society, right? Society tells us that everybody else has got to be first, or you're selfish, or you can't put yourself first ever, then you're selfish. And then what we do is we reach out and we try to fill voids, and we act out and act like we're rebellious against ourselves. And I did that for years. Like that was my life. It was like, I'm going to stay in the box, break the box, stay in the box, break the box.
Mm-hmm.
And what I realize now is, I took the Gary Vee mentality, which is create a legacy goal and get rid of the rest of the goals. Because anytime I have a short-term goal, it drives me nuts because I know I'm going to accomplish it in this time period, but then I'm stuck again trying to figure out what I want to do next. And I don't want that downtime. I want a continuous evolution, which is why I've created this legacy goal. And how I get there doesn't matter because I know I'm going to end up there, right? Like I know that I will, and I have a lot of self-compassion and I've learned patience. Like I never had patience in my life. My aunt used to walk up to me every time she saw me. Patience is a virtue. Patience is a virtue. At some point it was like, I get it. I don't have it. We're good.
It's so funny. I think you're one of the most patient people I've ever known.
Yeah.
And you've taught me that, and you've taught me patience, but I've never been that. But I've never been like that before. I was never patient. But the reason is because I wasn't patient with myself either.
Yes.
And that's a big part. It all goes back to the same thing. That self conversation, right? Like me and you have talked about this ad nauseum. Like you can't not have expectations on somebody else if you have expectations on yourself. You can't not judge anyone else if you judge yourself. You've got to work on self first. You've got to understand that we are in a fucked up world. Like this world is screwed up, and nothing that we can do right this moment is going to fix the world. But what we can do right this moment can fix us going forward so that we can fix the world. Because the minute we start fixing ourselves, we start fixing the world. Because it's not only us, it's who we impact, who we touch, who we relate to on those days. It's so important to share your story, put yourself out there, so that those that relate to you can form that unique bond with you so that you can find your people, so that you can elevate yourself and lift them up too. And we've talked ad nauseum about how hard it is to ask for help. Nobody wants to ask for help. And helpers are the worst. We don't want to ask for help. But I'm honored every time somebody asks me to help. So why would I take away honoring somebody else to help me?
Mm-hmm.
And that paradigm shift has been huge for me.
Yeah.
And it's challenging, right? Like, because we don't want to always feel like we're complaining. We don't always want to feel like we're word vomiting on people. We don't want to feel like we're becoming that burden, or it's becoming negative in any type of shit, right? Like any type of relationship. We don't want to think that it's becoming a negative connotation because we have conversations. But when you have the right people around you, they allow you to be you. They accept it as it is. They still see you for who you are. They allow you to, can you please close the door, Thomas? Yeah. Before I shut off the Wi-Fi. Thank you. Like, this is the only thing that works.
That's the only punishment I have.
So he slams the door. Perfect. But we've got to get to this point that we understand ourselves enough to love ourselves enough to allow somebody else in. Because if we don't allow others in, then we can never replace that alone feeling. Mm-hmm. I don't need to be in the room with the million people because I've been there before. I don't need to be in front of a group of UN delegates or a group of UN people or on UN meetings or at UN events or talking in front of Walmart conferences or, being a part of flying across the world to go do government contracts. I don't need to do those things to feel like I'm in front of people anymore. I realize that my presence is felt no matter where I am because of the impact that I make on those that I touch on a daily basis. And those people are there for me in return when I allow them to be. And it's very difficult to allow that. It really is.
Hi, Brenda.
Yes.
It is allowing you to be you.
Did I say that? Because that sounds really intelligent.
It really
Okay. I'm not sure.
You say a lot of intelligent things, Mike.
Well, yeah, when I go into a zone and then I don't remember any of them because it's just intuitive.
But it's real. It's real.
It is real. It is
and
real.
It's allowing yourself to be yourself. And that's very difficult for some people. But
and that is the real definition of freedom. The rest of the crap doesn't matter.
And that's my number one core value.
I know it is.
I discovered that freedom. I didn't even know what it meant when I first started looking into core values. Yeah. I was like, freedom, like, what is that? That doesn't beat like empathy. That doesn't beat like trust or honesty, and then I started to understand that all of that together was leading to my freedom.
And Sagittarius?
No, I'm a Libra.
Definitely. Definitely. Yes, 100%.
What does that mean? Explain to me what that means. What are you two talking about?
Why are you saying definitely, Mike?
Because you definitely have Libra and Scorpio traits.
Rhonda. What, that we have similar traits? Rhonda,
no.
This is my talk show.
Libra and Scorpios, you definitely have their traits. You have both of their traits quite well. Quite well.
I don't have the mean streak that Scorpio has, though. I have double Scorpio parents. I'm here to tell you, I do not have the mean streak.
No. You don't have the mean streak, but you have the headstrong, the other stuff. So anyway, I'm not going there right now. But you do have the traits, and it's interesting how that stuff aligns, and it's a little weird because I definitely have Gemini traits, right? Like I'm definitely a Gemini. Like there's not even a question. Like, I could be on one side of the spectrum one moment and one side of the spectrum the next and have great conversations with myself about both sides. And sometimes I need a mediator for both sides. So every once in a while I got to throw a referee in the ring for me. But I am that person. I'm outgoing. I'm outward. I'm fully expressive. I'm very communicative. My communication's getting clearer on a daily basis, and it's not something that I even thought was a strong.
That's because you're writing so much, just to let you know.
Misspelling everything and horrible punctuation and still grammar to crap. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. That's not the point.
No, but I'm just
correct all of it anyway.
Yeah.
But yes, it is. The writing's helping because it's helping my thoughts be clearer. It's helping me understand myself better and how I want to explain myself. When I didn't understand that before, I was always great at storytelling. I was always great at getting my message across. I was always great at putting my presence out there and getting, that emotional pull behind everything I say. I've always carried that with me ever since I was a kid. I don't even want to know what that comment is.
Wait. I need Annie to get a talk show. I don't know who she's talking to. Is it us? This is my talk show.
Yeah.
This is the Annie show.
This is the Annie show. But yet you weren't as good at communicating your feelings to people.
I wasn't as clear with my message either. It's very refined now. My messages get clearer every day, and how I refine them and articulate them is much better. Like it's just a different way of presenting myself.
I wonder if we go back and watch some of our shows, because we have some really good shows, like our forgiveness show, like 6-7 months ago. I wonder if we watch the shows, if you can see you're evolving from your communication style.
I mean, probably. I mean, I'd probably do it if I looked a month ago. I mean, if I looked a month ago, I'd probably do it, right? Like, I mean, if you go look at my YouTubes where I'm bawling my brains out like a crazy person because I couldn't handle my emotions, yeah, I mean, it's an evolutionary process, right? Like, I mean, I just processed 41 years of living in 6 months. I mean, I'm doing pretty good. Like,
yeah.
my head didn't explode yet. Kelly,
do you have a word for 2021?
I don't yet. And I think I'm going to pick a word. It's not something that I always do. It's not going to be allow. I'll tell you that. I won't. I'm not going to pick allow. Teasing. That has been my word the last 3 months, and it has been a struggle for me. I'm a doer, and
I'm with you, girl.
Over and over and over again, I've been told, shown a million different ways that this is not my time to do. This is my time to receive and allow. So it's.
If Mike says it to me one more time that I need to just allow, I'm like so happy it's not my word anymore. I don't want to allow anymore. Probably when I need to allow the most, right?
Right, for sure. So yeah, no, I haven't picked a word. I don't know. I don't know if I will.
Do you ever wear those cowboy hats, or are they just for show?
Isn't that great? Yeah, no, they're just for show. So I'm at my mom's. We were here for New Year's, and this is my mom's bedroom, and this is like her little art studio area, and all of these hats were my dad's. Aww. And so she keeps them on the wall. Yeah, my dad passed away a little over 3 years ago, so this is her little homage to Dad. No, it's great. Love that. It's a happy thing. Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah. So howdy from Texas.
Howdy, y'all. We know Mike's word, but he can talk about it if he'd like. So he should talk about it.
So my word is true, because I want to be true to myself, true to others, true to everything I do, and true to my purpose. Sorry, Sid's distracting me.
That's sweet, boy.
Yeah.
No offense, guys. Rhonda wants me to have my own talk show, like just me, where I'm just talking. So remember when I started I'm not going to cut you off.
All of your personalities could easily do a show.
Shut the fuck up.
You could probably just.
Nice.
You could switch.
Very low vibe.
You know, he's one to talk. I'm not even going there. I'm not giving that any credence.
Nope.
God damn it.
Go ahead, Annie. I want to know what your word is for 2021. Do you have one?
Resilience. Yeah, I just think it's time for everybody to just lean into resilience and lean into each other and band together, and because we are so resilient as humanity and as human beings. And I've talked about this, I rescued Randall with the kids. I rescued him 3.5 weeks ago, and he was in the street getting rocks thrown at him by kids. And a good Samaritan picked him up and dropped him at the shelter, and so we rescued him into our family. And it just made me think to myself, I know it's a dog, but also he's a really soulful dog. And I believe that there's like a connection with animals in many ways. And I think that, you know, he sort of teaches you about resilience, because he could be angry and mean, and he's a pit bull. He's really strong. He could be, you know, vicious because of what was done to him. And I don't even know more than that. It could have been way more than that. But he's the gentlest, most soulful, beautiful dog. And it just shows me what resilience means, you know, that we have that ability to just say, I'm going to let that go. And just, now he lives he's in the lap of luxury. So
I want to allow myself to reframe that last statement before Sid crashed me.
Okay.
What I was talking about was something like Saturday Night Live. You have a full wardrobe that you could literally change on a minute by minute basis and be different people.
I don't think you really think I have multiple personality disorder.
No, I've had lots of experience with that. No. But you could literally play different skits all day long, because you could, instead of the Chicago Bears fans, you could be the 76ers fans, or you could be the Phillies fans, or the Eagle fan, or whatever
Everybody
it is.
just wants to see me in my vintage starter jacket, my Sixers jacket. Everybody just is dying for that, you know?
Probably.
To be a thing.
Rhonda said everyone would watch. This is very hard for me. If I had any color in my face today, I would be turning bright red. I'm bubbly and vibrant. Thank you.
Allow.
Thank you. I have to allow.
Nana's not in here. Hi, Nana.
I don't know what that is about me.
We're all getting kids coming in now. No, it's like,
who's coming in?
This is my niece, Mavis.
My son is
sleeping.
Maybe she's in there.
He's sleeping. It's early. It's only 1 o'clock.
He sleeps till about 3, I think.
Yeah, right until you drop him off.
Mom, I'm starving. I'm so hungry. There's nothing to eat in this house.
I don't know where Nana is.
Wi-Fi is lagging. It's the story of my life. Wi-Fi sucks here. I'm like, where is it better at your dad's? He's like, no, it sucks there too. I'm like, all right, I'm doing okay then. Rhonda disagrees with you, Michael. She said not like Saturday Night Live, not skits, conversations. Rhonda should be my manager.
She should be. She should be.
She has it all set up for me. It's perfect. I don't want to do anything except show up. Can I do that? So yeah, I only have one kid here at home with me today, and he is fast asleep. So I got nothing.
Okay, so should I worry that Sid just took the syrup and ran into the bedroom?
No, because it's Sydney, and that's what she does. I mean, the last time we were on the phone, you were like, she's eating jelly with a spoon at the table, and like, that's just what she does. I mean, she just.
I guess worst case, she'll just drink it out of the container.
She likes toppings. Like, what do you?
Yeah.
So I think we're rounding down to the end of the show, but we had a really good discussion today. I really enjoyed it. I think it was just a lot of positivity and taught me some things, and I hope people learn from it. My eyes are burning, so I'm put these on. But I learned a lot from it, and I thank you guys for being with me today. Michael, was this an okay New Year's Day celebration for your 12 Days of Christmas special?
Yes, which has now been extended to 14 so far, so yes.
Well, this is mine, so enjoy.
This is yours. This is yours, yes. You have, oh shit.
What's oh shit?
I lost the screen. I don't know what my phone just did. Like, I went to a different page. I think it froze me.
You're not frozen.
Well, guys, Kelly, do you have anything to add before we wrap it up?
No. Just thank you for inviting me. This was a great conversation. And I
just looked at the bottom right of my computer, and it says 1/1/2021. That looks different. That looks really cool.
Ooh, yeah.
It's all starting. The resilience is seeping up.
I like it.
But thanks, guys. I love you both, and I'm happy. And Kelly, we do have to have a conversation outside, offline. Yeah, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Mwah.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace. It's been real.